All right, moving on. I'm going to get this one out of here. Doesn't seem like that one's working. Let's reshuffle here a little bit. 2 years ago, our theme was new material technologies. There's so much stuff happening in the Nordics and Sweden and Finland primarily when it comes to recycling of textiles, creating new fibers that become threads, that become textiles and garments. I wanted to have a little bit of that in this year's session as well. And what better case study than to look at the new potential mega company Syre. So please welcome Emma Stjernlöf, Chief Communications and People Officer at Syre, and Erik, I'm about to say Olsson again, Lagerblad, Head of H&M Group Ventures.
Hello.
And Erik, congratulations on your marriage and your new name to begin with.
Thanks.
I'm still getting used to that.
Yeah, me too.
It was announced earlier this year that this huge initiative called Syre to recycle polyester, and not on some Nordic little scale, but on a global scale. This really caught my eye, and Emma, maybe you can just set this up for us. What is Syre?
So pressure now from Helena to simplify things. So as you say, we call ourselves a textile impact company, and we're here to de-waste and decarbonize the industry. So not only fashion, but across textile intense industries and at hyperscale. And yes, we're starting with polyester, which is the biggest fiber out there, and the biggest emitter, which is even more important. So to simplify, textile waste, polyester waste going in, and circular polyester coming out over and over again.
Got it. Erik, this was a huge investment from H&M Ventures, bigger than you're usually doing, and you seem more invested than you're usually doing. You're doing this together with the Vargas Group? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about why this was important for you guys.
Well, as Emma said, polyester is a really big fiber in the world, and we know that we need to change. We need to use circular polyester. So, you know, it's our second biggest fiber. And we also had other investments in the material area. And what we saw was that it takes a very long time to scale these innovations. So we sort of asked ourselves, you know, who do we know who knows how to scale companies and technologies? And that's when the idea came that, yeah, we actually know the people at Vargas, and you know, they know how to scale technologies and companies. So we contacted them, sat down with them, and you know, sort of explained what the challenges were that we saw. And they asked a lot of questions, and we ended up deciding that we should explore this idea of creating a hyperscaling company together.
Well, Emma, maybe you can talk about the innovation. This is a kind of a different approach to a startup, let's say. But this is not a small startup. Huge investments are made, and you're actually looking at the problem first. And then going out trying to find that solution. Talk about that process.
No, I think that's key here and very interesting. And as Erik said, this idea was initiated from an actual commercial need from H&M, and then with Vargas, who knows how to scale at, driving green transition at large scale. So probably the most known companies being Northvolt, H2 Green Steel, Era. So they are taking one industry at a time. So instead of starting with, finding that interesting technology, trying to find investors, and then setting the plan and reaching out to potential consumers, this was kind of the other way around. So already a playbook, how to scale in place, already investors, already the biggest commercial agreement to date in the industry. So all of that kind of in place before then starting, which I'm doing, recruiting a lot of talent and making it happen.
Right. I want to talk about the scale, but maybe we should try to, a little bit more detail, explain the technology that you are starting with. And you've said you're going to go into other materials as well, but you're starting with polyester. What is it that you actually do with polyester?
Well, as many people in this room know, polyester is a big emitter and issue today, as it's coming from oil, so virgin oil. And the solution at hand that I've been working with for many years in the industry is what we call recycled polyester, so bottle to fiber, which is in fact not a circular solution. It's better than virgin, but it's not a circular solution. And EU will not call it a circular solution or a sustainable solution either. So that was kind of the problem that we had at hand. And this is all of what Erik did during the first year, even before Syre was live, but trying to find that right technology and scanning the world for the right technology to do this and to deliver. And yeah, Erik, I think it's probably better on how you proceeded with that. And
so you're asking me questions now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
No, but I think that, I mean, the key was here to find a technology that was able to scale at speed.
Yeah. So we looked for quite a long time, and we sort of scanned the world. That sounds very big, but we looked at maybe 20 different technologies and went deep with maybe 5, and started visiting these labs all across the world. And in the end, we found a great technology. They had been sort of in stealth mode for a couple of years. And the technology, the company was founded by 2 former professors in chemistry in North Carolina, and we saw huge potential. And it was sort of a perfect match, because we obviously needed a technology. We had an idea, but we had access to capital. We had access to experience in scaling technologies. And they had the technology, they had the brains behind it, the science, and they needed us as much as we needed them. So it turned out really, really well, I would say.
Yeah, and they're now part of the company.
Yeah.
Right. Talk about this grand ambition of a rollout, which the first you launched, I think you mentioned, was it 12 gigafactories you wanted to build? That was the first announcement, and it's 3 in maybe the next, in the near term.
Yeah.
How's this going to happen?
It's going to happen. I think that's the key. So we're now in very much detailed planning. We're setting up close to the technology in North Carolina. We're setting up a blueprint plant. Still substantial volume, so 10K metric tons coming out of that plant. And the giga scale that you mentioned, so that is roughly 250K metric tons per plant. And we will establish around 12 in less than 10 years globally. So we're right now in the phase of ordering equipment, shortlisting the locations for these plants based on numerous factors, but being very close to the industry, to the textile waste. Yes, that's where we currently are.
Erik, you work for H&M Group Ventures, so it's a separate. Maybe we should just explain a little bit what that is before I ask my next question.
Yeah, sure. So H&M Group Ventures, we're basically the venture investment arm of the H&M Group. So we invest for minority stakes in startups within our industry. So we have 3 different areas that we invest in, that we call sustainable fashion, new retail, and enablers and services. So basically, sustainability-related technology, new business models, and a lot of tech solutions.
And the way you've described how you work with other companies, as you go in, you take kind of a minor stake, you want to kind of enable them and kind of push them along. This is obviously a different approach.
Yeah.
You are the instigator. How is this just important for H&M, the corporation, in terms of providing you with polyester, or how do you see the approach to the delivery?
Yes and no, I would say. It's super important for us because we need this technology. As Emma said, said, we've already written a huge offtake agreement with Syre, worth $600 million over 7 years. So it's the biggest one that we have ever done, and I think in the industry as well. So we really need the technology and the product, but this is not an H&M company. We were part of founding this, but we, we're as active almost as Emma and the team in trying to get other customers in as well. Because if we want to really change the industry, we're going to need to do this together. I think, that's the only way that we can reach these very, very ambitious targets.
And Emma, you're not only targeting fashion, from my understanding.
No.
You're looking broader than that.
Yeah, so it's basically all textile or polyester in the first phase intense industries. So automotive being one, a huge amount of textiles in a car. And also the home and interior space, the IKEAs of the world. So we're going quite broad, but obviously fashion and apparel being a very important partner for us.
Maybe we should make, what does Syre mean? Where does the name come from?
Yeah, so most people in Sweden knows it's Syre. So, and that's actually the symbolic behind it. So the meaning of oxygen, we want to have an optimistic view, to breathe new oxygen into an industry in need of it. So that's one thing. And then we have the symbolism with sy, so sewing or stitching, and reusing. So that's the story behind the name, which we created in record. We created a brand in less than 2 months.
We have several brands here in the audience. When can they get their hands on some Syre material?
Well, already now they can get their hands on samples. So we have a small 1K production line up and running. And again, the blueprint plant being up and running next year. So then we will be able to do smaller commercial batches. H&M, of course, being first in line. Yep. So I guess that's the message here. We believe that, in just a few years, there will be a scarcity of circular material. And we can see now the early adopters and early movers, they understand that. We have lots of ongoing, very positive conversations.
Wonderful. Emma Stjernlöf, Erik Lagerblad, I'm looking forward to following this journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.